places you don't talk about at parties. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Keep that frequency clear.
And now it's conspiracy. See, they've made that something that should not be even entertained for a minute, that powerful people might get together and have a plan. Doesn't happen. You're a kook. You're a conspiracy buff.
You're watching The Truth is Viral, the only news program on the internet trusted to deliver the truth since 2008. And now, here's your host, Mr. Bobby Powell.
Welcome back to The Truth is Viral, folks. My name is Bob Powell, and I'd like to thank everybody that's been following me on Friday nights for joining me on the news schedule here on Liberty One TV, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 7 p.m. until 8. And folks, today we've got a problem. Now, whether you like Alex Jones or not, he's been banned from YouTube, from Spotify, and another platform. And the reason that they gave him for that was, and Facebook, that was the platform. Facebook is so much not on my mind these days because they're just, Alex Jones isn't the only victim, let's put it that way. But whether you agree with Alex Jones or not, you have to support his right to speak freely. And, YouTube's messing with me. Don't tell me 505 internal server error. I don't want to hear it. Okay. Okay, now, I'm going to show you something here. It's going to tell you how I feel about Alex Jones.
That is the chance of Lock Her Up and Hillary for President 2016 that all originated right here on this transmission. And that's why they're trying to block us and trying to censor us, because we put out memes that are truth-based, and that's why they're viral. And I think that's going to be InfoWars' new slogan. Not just that there's a war on for your mind, but InfoWars. The truth is viral. In fact, you have Frigé trademark that right now. Thank you. InfoWars. The truth is viral.
I don't think so, Alex. Okay, so I've got a personal grudge against Alex Jones. I started The Truth is Viral as a means of recovering from an accident that had stolen my ability to read, write, and even speak properly. So when I've got this little aphasia going on when I keep on saying the ands and the uhs, that is the end result of 8 surgeries and hundreds of hours of physical therapy, okay? So I fought hard to work my way back from nothing, basically. I was a mainstream journalist in Colorado during Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and I was making quite a name for myself. I anchored KVOR Radio's evening newscast and was working as a stringer for CBS Radio. I was going places, and then an accident, stole my ability to make a living as a journalist. So I fought back, and I fought back hard. And Alex Jones knows exactly who I am. He sent me a friend request several years ago. He hasn't answered any of my messages sending him information since then. He won't answer my emails to his LinkedIn or to his private email account. And that, when I said that he friended me, it was on LinkedIn, where professionals go to network with each other. So he knows who I am, and he knows that I started The Truth is Viral in 2008 as a form of therapy, and now he's trying to steal the name from me. So I don't have any love for Alex Jones right at this moment. I didn't have any love for Anwar al-Awlaki, the Muslim terrorist that wanted to kill people, but the fact is, the man was an American citizen and he had rights. Even the ACLU called Obama a tyrant on my show for ordering the death of Anwar al-Awlaki, Samir Khan, and 16-year-old Abdul Rahman al-Awlaki, who had never done a thing to anybody. You can disagree with somebody. You can have a philosophical or religious disagreement with them. I mean, to the point where you really don't care for the person. But the fact is, Alex Jones has a First Amendment right to say whatever he wants. If he crosses the line and goes into slander or libel, well, then he'll be civilly liable for that. And the person that was offended can take him to court. That's the way our system works in the United States. You can't have the government or tech giants like Google, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter silencing the speech that they don't like. It's wrong. And although I don't like Alex Jones personally, he and his staff do a lot of good work. And the message that they put out must be heard. It's that simple. We are in a technological civil war with the destroyers of humanity. Real fascists. This is the technological equivalent of Nazi book burnings in Germany circa 1939. Well, a lot of these leftists and progressives don't get. They don't know anything. They've never studied history. It's not taught in schools anymore. They don't know about how Adolf Hitler killed all of his brown shirts, the guys that had been who like Antifa were taken to the streets and beating up people that they didn't like, closing down Jewish businesses and all that. Hitler had them all killed as soon as he was done with them. But these people aren't thinking about that. They think that they're going to be right up in there with Hermann Göring and Joseph Goebbels. They think they'll be protected. Well, I've got news for them. They're not going to be protected. It's been talked about in Congress already that because of the silencing of conservative voices like legislators Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan and Devin Nunes, who are shadow banned on Twitter. I mean, these are our legislators. These are the people that speak for our country. And Twitter is shadow banning their speech so that they can't be heard. You know, I'm going to tell you something right now, and it's a fact. I have never, ever seen an organic tweet from President Donald Trump. Only when it's been retweeted by somebody else have I seen one of his tweets on Twitter. They're these tech giants headed by leftists and socialists, and in some cases outright communists, are silencing conservative voices, and they're going to be referred to the Federal Elections Commission for election meddling. Talk about collusion. A couple of weeks ago, I showed everybody how Facebook is protecting troll accounts originating in Macedonia and other Eastern European nations, and I've noticed here recently West African troll accounts have been popping up. And it's easy to identify them. They go by the names of movie stars or fictional Hollywood characters like Fiona Gallagher. Okay, you can go back in the Liberty One archives and find my show from a couple of weeks ago, and I'll link it at the end of this video on YouTube. You can watch it. I contacted Facebook. I said, this is obviously a fictional character. I reported them. This is obviously a fictional character. They've got Macedonian friends. They're talking back and forth to each other in Macedonian. I mean, come on. You just got through spending days in front of Congress getting your asses handed to you because you let the Russians interfere in our elections. But here you are protecting these Macedonian accounts. They say they don't violate our terms of service, even though it's against the rules to have a fake account. You know, I had to upload my driver's license in order to maintain my Facebook account. But Fiona Gallagher gets reported, and she's protected by Facebook. The purpose of these trolls, folks, was not to elect Donald Trump, because they were not only on Facebook, they were out in the streets. And it's all been funded by George Soros, not to elect one person or over the other, but to divide us. You've seen these posts. They're the most vile things in I've ever seen. And it comes from both perspective on the left and from on the right. What they're trying to do is polarize us and get us in the streets fighting each other. That's been their plan, but they don't understand. This is not 1939 Nazi Germany. This is 2018, the United States of America. And Americans aren't dumb. You've seen the walk-away movement, right? Democrats walking away from the Democratic Party because it's just gone too far. Ginning up violence against conservatives, silencing them, chasing them out of movie theaters, refusing to serve them in restaurants. And I'm talking about name brand conservatives. You know who I'm talking about: Sarah Sanders and Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of Florida, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security got accosted in a Mexican restaurant in Washington, D.C. All because Maxine Waters and those type of people said, don't let them eat. Don't let them get on a bus. They can't get on a plane. Don't let them go to see a movie. You got to get in their faces. And you got to resist. We've seen people beaten in the streets because of this message. It's unacceptable. And I guarantee you, one of these days, one of these mobs is going to attack the wrong person and people are going to get shot. And then what? I talked to Maxine Waters' office, and they have no comment on her incendiary remarks. Her spokeswoman said, I don't speak for Maxine Waters. But yeah, they're trying to shut Alex Jones down, and it's wrong. And make no mistake, Breitbart is next. Conservative Treehouse is next. Just about any conservative podcast or television show is going to be targeted. Nobody's immune from this. They started with Alex Jones, but we're all a target. You, the individual Facebook user, watching this right now. The individual person on YouTube watching this right now. The person on Twitter that's going to retweet this later. You are a target. You remember that Mel Gibson movie, The Patriot, when he's teaching his son, reminding his son how to shoot and identify officers? Start with the head officer and work your way down. Aim small, miss small. Remember that? It's true. They start with the big guys, and then they work their way down to enlisted men like me and Pete Santilli and everybody else that shares a passion for telling the truth and won't let the mainstream media put words in their mouth. So over the next 40 minutes or so, we're going to take a look at some of this stuff. And you're not going to like it one little bit.
I've come to disrupt these people.
Yeah, he's coming.
I've come to disrupt.
I worry about Alex sometimes. I worry that his blood pressure is going to explode. But seriously, give me just 1 second, and we're gonna listen to the man himself. Where did it go? My spot. Can't blame that on the deep state. Okay, here we go. Oh, come on now. Yeah, there we go. I didn't want the whole Twitter timeline. I just wanted this one little spot.
These people, I've come to stop them. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to play patty cake. I'm not here to play games. But you read the danger of the headlines. Jones said Islamophobic things, bully children, and anti-transphobic or trans whatever. And they don't even show you what I said. That's total Hollywood, Berkeley speak, globalist speak, Soviet speak, EU speak. So everybody hears, ooh, hate speech. We can't tell you what it was. It was so bad. Don't listen to it, though. I believe they've jumped the shark if you take action and tell everybody you know about Infowars.com/show. And if people go check their spam filter, because most of those will block Infowars emails to you. At the library, tell people about it. At work, say, hey, regardless of what you think about Alex Jones, why don't you go hear for it yourself? Guys, a lot of people are saying they're going to listen to us or watch us on Vimeo, other places. You can always watch us at Infowars.com/show. But remember, up until the mid-1980s, there was federal law that conservatives couldn't have talk radio shows. They said it's only fair and balanced they would have liberal programs, NPR, you name it. They were totally anti-American. And then Roger Ailes and others went, listen, AM radio is going out of business. It's about to turn off. All we got to do is take some good talk show hosts that are popular, fire them up, get them advertisers, put some billboards up, and say, hey, you want an alternative? Use your AM radio. And it worked like a charm. Well, we're on UHF, VHF, local cable stations, AM, FM, you name it, and people are just going back to it. They're just going back to it. And so that's what it's all about. But also, they'll go to Vimeo, or they'll go to Infowars.com/show. So you got to tell people the purge is on. And are they going to get away with this purge by demonizing me, by building it up, by getting it set up, by lying about who I am? The very media that lied about WMDs and got a bunch of our troops killed and got millions of Iraqis killed. Madeleine Albright said 500,000 Iraqi kids, a good price to pay. I asked the New York Times, what about the 500,000 kids, Madeleine Albright? You feel bad, or is she a great lady? Say she's bad. Oh, I'm not going to say that. That's right. It's all about your moralizing, that I question public events that other people do. Hell, mainstream news is saying they think Maduro staged that attack and no drones shot missiles at him. Oh, wow, AP, Reuters, Daily Mail. Wow, they're questioning. What if it turns out to be real? You don't care about the victims. No, we have to question events. Most of the time, they're what they say. Sometimes they're not. They misrepresent what I say to build the straw man. They didn't have 1,000 articles a day or more in every TV station I know of demonizing me for months for no reason. I'm not that important. They want to deplatform everyone. They've already done it 90+%. There's graphs out showing it. And Congress is sitting on its stupid moron ass. I don't care at the end of the day, except for my crew members and people, about InfoWars. I've always said I'm giving us 110% until they wipe me out or we win. And if I get wiped out of the game, imagine you're in the end of the fourth quarter and you get and you throw that touchdown pass, but they take your knee out. You're already so exhausted. They put the new quarterback in. You sit back and you watch everybody win in sudden death overtime.
Facebook, Spotify, and you.
I've come to disrupt these people. I've come to stop them. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to play patty cake. I'm not here to play games. But you read the danger of the headlines. Jones said Islamophobic things, bully children, and anti-transphobic or trans whatever. And they don't even show you what I said. That's total Hollywood, Berkeley speak, globalist speak, Soviet speak, EU speak. So everybody hears, ooh, hate speech. We can't tell you what it was. It was so bad. Don't listen to it, though. I believe they've jumped the shark if you take action and tell everybody you know about Infowars.com/show. And if people go check their spam filter, because most of those will block Infowars emails to you. At the library, tell people about it. At work, say, hey, regardless of what you think about Alex Jones, why don't you go hear for it yourself? And if you do hear, you know why they're panicking? They watch the live feeds from Berkeley and from the other areas that we went to this weekend with our crew, where thousands of patriots from every race, color, and creed showed up, like the Portland prayer rally. And, man, they saw tons of black people and Hispanics and Asians. And Antifa beat up a Hispanic man who has multiple, was it sclerosis or dystrophy? He was on a walker. He talks about it in the video. And they just beat him up. I mean, you look at the crazed, domesticated people, and they were almost all white, by the way. And then you look at this multiracial crowd wearing red, white, and blue, and it just scared the living daylights. And about a third of the people were wearing Infowars.com shirts. And if you look, most of our videos have already been taken down of it. But everybody, that's why I told everybody, download our videos before they take them down. And that's the next thing to say, oh, Jones himself is deplatformed. You can't, I told you this was coming. Jones himself, videos of him can't go up. And they've got algorithms of my voice to block it. So you're going to have to make transcripts of what I've said as we go into this dark night, my friends. But we're going to make it through the night together.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Go ahead.
So yeah, they're not just after Alex Jones. They're after everybody that makes a point. Okay, I'm thinking other than Ben Swan, I'm one of the few main or alternative media journalists that actually has a background in mainstream media, and I think that's why they're scared of me, because I go to sources. Bet you never knew that the ACLU called Obama a tyrant. Well, they did on my show. You never knew that Barack Obama told everybody that the reason going into Libya was to protect innocent protesters from Gaddafi using gas on them. Well, you heard that part, but you didn't hear my interview with a NATO spokesman who told me unequivocally that NATO had, or that Gaddafi had no chemical weapons. Matter of fact, instead of just
part of the issue
telling you about it, why don't you listen to it?
Part of the issue with Gaddafi was he was very demonstrably drawing down his old WMD capability. Now that the raw materials were there, and those needed to be secured, but there was nothing weaponized because they'd very deliberately stopped that program and were kind of in the process of disposing of it all.
Okay. Barack Obama took this country to war based on a lie. He had his State Department and his press secretary and the Defense Department say Gaddafi's about to use gas on innocent protesters. Well, in the first place, they weren't innocent protesters. They were freaking Al-Qaeda terrorists. And regardless of what you think of Gaddafi, I didn't think he was a particularly nice guy, but again, I defended his rights not to be murdered, especially based on a lie. He took us to into a war that ended for us. The Libyans are still going through it, but it ended for us with the death of a United States ambassador and 3 of our greatest operators. That man needs to be put in prison. But the mainstream media won't touch that interview. It should put Barack Obama in prison, but I can't get it on any station, not even Fox, because they were complicit in it too. They wanted war with Gaddafi, not so much for Obama's reasons, but for neocon reasons. They wanted to control the oil. So that was the case of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But the information's being suppressed. They're hiding from their crimes. That's what they're doing with all this garbage. And Let's talk to, or listen to,
Apple.
Paul Joseph Watson. I like this kid. He's got a mouth on him, and he's really smart too. Yeah, he's got some things to say about this, and he's dead on. I want you to listen to this.
Apple, Facebook, Spotify and YouTube all completely banned InfoWars within 12 hours of each other, clearly suggesting big tech collusion and proving their terms of service are all bullshit. This is political censorship. This is the Purge. Facebook cited language used to describe Muslims, transgenders and immigrants. They provided 0 specific examples as to what we said that was verboten, and neither did Apple, Spotify or YouTube.
But they're private companies, they can ban who they like.
No, Facebook, Twitter and Google have monopolized free speech online. They're a monopoly. They're also working directly with institutions of media. CNN whines all day about Trump threatening press freedoms, while simultaneously lobbying to have its competitors shut down by big tech. America's free press supports censorship. Big tech is colluding with leftist lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Democratic Congressman Ted Deutsch pressured YouTube and Facebook to ban InfoWars just a few weeks ago.
Alex Jones obviously is a well-known conspiracy theorist whose brand is bullying.
Typically, a channel gets 3 strikes, and then we terminate the channel.
Democratic Congressman Mike Quigley pressured Twitter to remove my tweets from trending hashtags, and they did.
On Twitter, if you clicked on the hashtag NYC terrorist attack, which is, quote, trending, marked with a red button saying, quote, live, the top tweet links to an InfoWars story with the headline, Imam, I warned de Blasio about New York City terror. He was too busy bashing Trump. But you saw this.
USA Today. At lunch, I did, yeah, and I also saw the system correct it.
As WikiLeaks tweeted, this is a global antitrust problem. This is cultural imperialism. So no, it's not just a private company. This is a handful of far-left hysterics in San Francisco framing legitimate criticism of mass immigration and Islam as hate speech. This is language policing. This is political censorship. They know InfoWars played a key role in electing Trump. This is punishment for that. And this all happened 3 months before the midterms. This is election meddling. This is election rigging. This was all coordinated. They all banned InfoWars within the same 12-hour period. That's big tech collusion. That's a total abuse of power. Now look at Apple's excuse for banning InfoWars. According to Apple, if you don't respect people with different opinions, you will be banned. Does this mean it's necessary to respect people who advocate child marriage and honor killings just to have a platform? Because I don't respect those people. I don't respect people like Louis Farrakhan, who praised Adolf Hitler as, quote, a very great man. Presumably Apple does, because his app and his broadcasts are still available on their platform. I don't respect Antifa, a group that violently attacks innocent people. But Antifa's pages, podcasts and videos are rarely, if ever, banned on any platform. Now look at Wikipedia. Activist editors removing Sarah Jeong's racist tweet controversy from her Wikipedia page, literally throwing the most important event in her career down an Orwellian memory hole, literally attempting to change reality and hide history. That's what this is all about. And all you liberals orgasmically celebrating big business censoring independent media, you're not liberals, you're authoritarians. Whether you hate Alex Jones is beside the point. Do you love the fact that a handful of tech monopolists have the power to simultaneously purge him from the internet? Forget the Supreme Court. Susan Wojcicki and Mark Zuckerberg are now de facto defining the parameters of the First Amendment. Big business monopolies as the ultimate judge, jury and executioner on free speech rights. And so-called liberals are jubilant. Conservatives who don't speak out against this, who hide and cower in the vain hope that they'll be spared. Well, guess what? You're next. While you desperately clamour for respect from leftists who hate you, while you vigorously defend the free speech rights of James Gunn and Sarah Jeong, an electronic wall is being built.
That's right. We are at war, folks. see it in the street clashes with Antifa, between Antifa and Patriots. People that just want to go and pray or hold a little prayer rally. Antifa goes down there and starts violence. But it's not just these guys. Like I said, they start at the top and work their way down. I never did finish my story about my strike at YouTube that prevented me from live streaming. I'm just so excited, and not excited in a good way. I'm angry, and I'm not thinking real straight at the moment. Add that on top of the stress of producing a brand new show 3 nights a week. Honey, baby, I'm telling you, my head's about to explode. But they're not going to stop me. If I have to stand out on the corner with a freaking switch or a sandwich board, that's exactly what I'm going to do. See, I'm not in this for the money. Never have been. It was nice before the YouTube adpocalypse because it allowed me to make improvements to the show so that I could bring you great content, something that's worthwhile watching. And they have now demonetized nearly all of my content. And I'm going to give you a rare look at a YouTube dashboard for content creators. Take a look down at the lower right, that number. Over the last 28 days, over 450 videos that I've produced since 2012 are earning me $3.45. My view counts are down. When I do a show live here on Liberty One on Friday nights, I'll regularly pull in 30,000 viewers live. These last few shows that I've put up, this one right here, QAnon foils Patriot attack, or foils a QAnon Patriot foils attack on Trump at Pennsylvania. This one exposed the eyes wide shut sex scandal that propelled Barack Obama into office, and down here, this one, proof that social media is still complicit in Russian collusion. Look at, if you can see the numbers, I don't know if it's too small for you or not, but the 3 of those videos together don't equal 2,000 views. I used to get 20, 30,000 views per video. They're taking away subscribers. Well, subscribers are dropping, 38 in the last 28 days. They're suppressing my YouTube channel, the information that I have to put out, and giving me strikes for no reason at all. And getting back to that Las Vegas story, after Stephen Paddock killed all those people, the official story was that the rifle he used to do it was an AR-15 with a bump stock and a bipod. Now, as a United States Marine, I'm somewhat of a weapons expert. A bipod cannot be used at the same time as a bump stock. The two devices have different physics. They cancel each other out. Bipod is meant to stabilize a rifle, and a bump stock depends on the instability caused by the recoil to operate properly. So I got a strike for bullying and hate speech for conducting a scientific experiment when I took a friend of mine out to the range and we decided to see if we could fire an AR-15 with both a bipod and a bump stock on it. And folks, I'm here to tell you it's impossible. I'm not claiming to know everything that went on in Las Vegas. All I can tell you 100% sure is that the official story is a lie. And this is why they hate us, the independent media, because we tell the truth. Speaking for myself, I get my sources right from the horse's mouth. I got the Gaddafi interview right from NATO. I got made that scientific experiment that I got the strike for. I showed it on video. It's available on my Facebook page if you want to see it at facebook.com/thetruthIsviral. It's there. You can see the experiment for yourself. But this war is not going to have a happy ending for some people. And I know that who those people are. I can't say that all of my viewers are Christians as I am. Many of them are great patriots, but they don't share the same religious beliefs as I do. But many of them do. And I'd like to give those folks a little bit of hope right now. From the book of Jeremiah, 2011, or chapter 20, verse 11. The Lord is with me like a mighty warrior, so my persecutors will stumble and not prevail. They will fail and be thoroughly disgraced, and their dishonor will never be forgotten. And of course, in the book of Revelations, it tells us that all liars are going to hell. Liars, sexually immoral, drunkards, traitors, people like that. And they know it. And they're fighting to take as many people with them as possible. That's the devil's agenda. He knows he's going to fail. He doesn't care. The old adage, misery loves company, applies here. He wants to drag as many of God's children to hell with him as he can, as a final middle finger to Almighty God. That's why I do what I do. Sure, the tech giants are the sword of the devil, but he's the enemy. He's the one that's wielding it. And I'm going to fight him till my very last breath. I give you my word as a United States Marine on that, on my sacred honor. I'm not going to let it happen. For those that are just getting to know me, after I started The Truth is Viral in 2008, you heard that story earlier, but I rededicated it in 2012 to a new purpose. My daughter died. She had lived her entire life with her mother and never had any religious training or anything like that. And she came to live with me when she got to be of age and could choose who she wanted to be with, and I was overjoyed. You know, and I tried to tell her about Christ a couple of times, and she'd always look up at me with those big, beautiful eyes, and she'd say, "Daddy, you know I don't believe in that." I didn't say anything. I'm sorry, but I did not tell my old little girl about the salvation freely available from Jesus Christ. And then she died without ever having heard the gospel. That's on my head. When I went down to South Carolina to retrieve her ashes, I brought them back up here to Michigan. It was a terrible snowstorm the day before I got back home, but I went outside by the river and took her ashes and I held them up to the sky. And I made my baby girl a promise. And I promised Almighty God that never again would I fail to tell people about the salvation that Christ will just give you for the asking. I don't do this for the money. Yeah, it helps buy equipment and actually go out to be where the news is and all that. But since my daughter died, I've got an unofficial motto: saving lives and winning souls for Jesus Christ. And the devil doesn't want that. Alex isn't a great professing Christian. He has said on occasion that he believes in God and in Jesus Christ, and good for him. But he doesn't make it a big part of his show. But the information that he brings out, the information that others bring out, is damaging the devil's agenda. They are also stealing souls right out of his filthy sewer. Because Almighty God is the truth. The devil is a liar. And he wants to suppress the truth. And all the people that control these tech giants, they're all Bilderbergers. They go out to the Bohemian Grove and worship the Molech owl. You know, since Roe v. Wade was passed as law allowing abortion, 60 million innocent children have been sacrificed on the altar of Molech, who was a Canaanite deity who demanded the human sacrifice of children. These people are evil incarnate. And I don't know what we're going to do to stop them. I really don't. That woman that went out there to shoot up YouTube, she wasn't a Christian. See, she was a Muslim, but that wasn't terrorism, right? She was just a vegan whack job that didn't like that YouTube had to demonetize some of her videos. But Christians don't believe in violence, not offensive violence anyway. Come at me, or come at any Christian, and I'm willing to bet they'll defend themselves. But violence is off the table for us. It's not off the table for them, but it's off the table for us. And like I said, they don't have that problem. There's a website that I'd like to show you. Find it here real quick. Yeah, here we go. This is called www.attacksontrumpsupporters.com. I just found this today. And it documents thousands of attacks on Trump supporters since his election. Attacks on media personalities. Attacks on people just walking down the street, minding their own business. Black people, Jewish people. Doesn't make any difference. If they've got a Trump hat on or a Trump t-shirt, they get attacked. There are a lot. I mean, I'm still scrolling. Thousands of individual attacks on Trump supporters. You remember this one right here, right? We're up in Chicago, Facebook Live. A few folks that didn't like Donald Trump kidnapped this developmentally disabled man and tortured him live on Facebook. They'd like you forget about things like that. But I don't. And they're not just censoring social media personalities. They're also censoring politicians. You remember I showed you, or told you earlier, that Congress is thinking about filing an FEC complaint, Federal Elections Commission complaint, against Twitter and YouTube and Google and Facebook for meddling in the election. Because they're suppressing conservative voices, particularly political voices. And there's this one lady I just heard about today, too. But like I said, I've been busy. I've been on my computer doing research and finding stuff to share with you all day. And this one's bad. This is Elizabeth Heng that you're about to see here. Let me pull up her picture. Elizabeth is a candidate for Congress in California. She is a conservative, a Republican, and Facebook doesn't like what she has to say. Here's Elizabeth right here. Can't get much more American than that, folks. She was an immigrant from Vietnam, I believe, or Laos. I'm sorry, Laos. And she had escaped, or from Cambodia. There we go, Cambodia. She escaped the violence there, and now she's running for Congress. She wants to make a difference and change that socialist state into something worthwhile. And so she shared her experience in a political advertisement. And Facebook shut her down. Here it is. Since Facebook won't show her ad, I will. Hope they can't find it buried deep inside this live broadcast.
In Cambodia, under Pol Pot's Khmer Rouge, being young and single often meant a gruesome life and likely death. They approached my father, and in order to save his life, he said he was about to be married. They asked him to whom? He pointed to the prettiest girl that he saw, having never spoken to her before. The soldiers approached her, and she said yes. They got married the very next day. 41 years later, they're still the happiest couple I know. Great things can come from great adversity.
That's right, folks. Great things can come from great adversity. It's true. I just shared an example. The death of my daughter changed my life. It set me on a new mission of saving lives and winning souls for Jesus Christ in these very last days. So no, they're not going to shut me up, regardless of how much they would like to. I don't care, they can kill me. But they're not going to shut us up. And like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, I've got my personal problems with Alex Jones, but this is much bigger than that. Our First Amendment is at stake. You've got to call and write your congressman, and you've got to demand that these tech giants be hauled before Congress to explain themselves. Where they're getting the funding for the things that they're doing. Why Facebook is protecting Macedonian trolls that are still intent on interfering with our elections and driving us apart as a people. Mark Zuckerberg lost, what, 20% of his fortune, some $16 billion. And Jack lost a bunch of money too. His stock dropped on Twitter the same amount, about 20%. But they don't care. I mean, how much money does a person really need to live? $16 billion, that was only 20% of his net wealth. I think I could get along with about $40 billion. Matter of fact, me and everybody I know and all their friends and all their friends' kids. But we're going to have to fight back, and the only way we're going to be able to do this is with the help of the good men and women in Congress. We got to shut them down. Declare Facebook, Google, and Twitter and YouTube to be public utilities. Break them up into itty-bitty pieces. They know Macedonia, I'm sorry, but you can't post on Facebook anymore. Well, on Facebook Macedonia, maybe you can, but not in Facebook America. Remember when they did that to Ma Bell? AT&T used to have a monopoly on all the telecommunications in this country. No more. See, once a company gets to be ubiquitously powerful like that, well, then they're subject to governmental sanctions, and it's time that they saw some. I'd like to thank everybody for watching The Truth is Viral. My name is Bob Powell, and I'll be with you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night from 7 until 8 o'clock, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays with my friend Pete Santilli. And we're going to give you some truth. And with your help, your support, we will save lives and win souls for Jesus Christ. We will defeat these globalist scum. Our King is coming. And now is the time for you to stand up for him. As Jesus Christ, God died for you. What will you do for him? I'll see you Wednesday night. My name is Bob Powell, and as always, God bless, Semper Fi, and hoorah.
Thank you for watching The Truth is Viral with your host, Bobby Powell. Make sure to follow The Apocalypse on Twitter at The Truth is Viral. Like The Truth is Viral on Facebook, and if you can, please remember to donate to the cause via PayPal at www.bobpowell.blogspot.com.